Live from Harbor Station, it's the Vector Spaceman Show. Now here's your host, Vector Spaceman!
Ooh, how's it going, Space Cadets? It's your old pal, Vector Spaceman, of course, back at it again. Coming to you live once more, straight from Harbor Station, and broadcasting on all frequencies to our beautiful planet Earth. Now, whether you're catching us live or you're just tuning in after the show, don't you know, we're glad to have you on board. Thanks for helping us make outer space the place to be on tonight, Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. What an august evening, Space Cadets. Welcome back to the program. And if it's your first time tuning in tonight, then hey, welcome aboard. I'm Vector Spaceman. This is the Vector Spaceman Show. Summertime is in full effect. Sun's out, guns out. And there's still plenty of time to get out there and enjoy yourselves, and we have been, now that the Spaceman's been freed from the shackles of servitude, from gainful employment, from the ever-waiting and oppressive jorb. It's good to be here with you tonight, cadets. Let's catch up. Hello, Meg. Nice to see you. Happy Tuesday. Now, if you missed the last show, don't distress, don't fret. We had to delay the programming until Thursday, so geez, it hasn't even been a full week since we last checked in. We had ourselves we were part of a TTRPG one-shot hosted by friend of the show, Azabiel, which was super duper fun, playing some, what is the word for it? Daggerheart, which you can find over on his YouTube page. Audio is a bit scuffed, but I'm told that it will improve as we may be appearing in some additional future adventures. In fact, I can go ahead and pop that right in the chat here if I were so enterprising. Bam! There we go. Yes, we've been given a sock. We is free. Check out that video. Super cool. Awesome cast. Myself, Galaxy Jamwich, Ava, and Alpine Showtime. Everyone did a great job, a great jorb. We had a lot of fun, a lot of adventure. And of course, we spent Thursday celebrating the end of the employment era, for the time being at least. Does this mean that we're gonna have more time for streams, perhaps? It's not impossible. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with all of our broadcasts so that you never ever miss a show, then be sure to follow Vector Spaceman on YouTube, Blue Sky, and of course, right here on Twitch. Good to see you, Meg. Happy Tuesday. Glad to be back. Doing our best out here. Living out our dreams. It's nice to be out of the jorb. So today is the first proper day off since leaving the position due to Canadian civic holiday shenanigans. Because we would have had yesterday off anyways. So today's the first day that feels like it's a day off. Can you double it and give it to the next person? Just what would that even look like? Double unemployment? Or are you talking, hey, maybe you get to leave the job, but you still get paid for it? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be ideal? Wouldn't that be swell? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be fantastic? I'm a fan. Oh, you just want double jobs? Okay. I think you're allowed to do that. I think there's nothing in the rules that says you can't just go have two jobs. You just got to get out there and apply yourself, you know? And then they give you 2 paychecks. See, that's the nice part. Still waiting for the news on the one I've been interviewing for. Yes, we heard about that. I'm excited for you. Because it sounds like you were doing well. Like it was promising. I don't think you ever mentioned details about it, though. Is it in your field? Is it something brand new? If you don't want to share, if it's too much, then don't. We'll just leave it at that. We'll just know that you're out there applying yourself and doing your best, and our fingers are crossed, and we're knocking on wood, space wood, that you're going to get that job. We're rooting for you, Meg. But as for what we've been up to, We've been getting to do some work on the helmet design, translating concepts into 3D. I'm a little disappointed because I'm almost positive we're not going to have it done in time for Fan Expo, which is when I wanted to have it done for. Which is a shame. But it's because I want it to look good. I was flip-flopping, going back and forth, like, all right, do we do like a quick mock-up in like EVA foam or something like that? Or do we just go all out on like the 3D printed helmet? Which is what I'm leaning more toward, but that takes a little more setup, a little more prep time. A real-life 3D vector helmet, holy can become exactly. It's gonna look pretty swell once we're done with it. But it's the getting done with it part that's the hassle. But uses parts of your degree. I've gone through 3 interviews. Well, at that point, you feel like you should have it in the bag, right? If they keep bringing you back again and again and again, they're not just wasting your time, and they're sure not going to be wasting their time. So you're probably a shoo-in if you're not one of the top contenders already. But yes, want to get that 3D helmet so I can go out into the 3D world. Interact, explore, engage. To boldly go where no spaceman has gone before. Outside. Yes, touching grass, exactly. That's what we're talking about. Down Earthside, That's where it's at. But with no jorb, we got to fit a whole bunch of other chores in as well. Got in and got my teeth did today, all nice and sparkly clean. That's nice. See? So swell, so fine. Here, we can even show it off with a little. Where's my glistenings? Where's my sparkles? Not those. Wow, there it is. So shiny, so cool, so clean. You made toggles, Spaceman. You may as well use them every once in a while. And I got to spend some time fixing up the space bike. Go out do some cycling. Like a proper hobo. Get some exercise, Can't just be sitting at the desk all day. No, sir. We caught a flat tire maybe a few weeks back. And then within a couple weeks, got glass in the puncture. They didn't replace the tire when I got it fixed because it was like, oh, okay, it's a nice clean puncture. We're not gonna have to worry about, anything else getting in there. And then 1 in a million shot, exactly what happened. Got a little chunk of glass all up ins, burst the new tube. So this time, no chances. We're just gonna replace the whole tire. Little costly, but easy fix. I'll get back out on the road. I've got this little like stationary bike up here in the station. Stationary. Get it? And so that's kind of fun because I can like watch shows and stuff while I'm like exercising and stuff. So I've been rewatching Arrested Development. That's such a great show for like 3 seasons before it falls off entirely. But that's great. Get up first thing in the morning, watch an episode or 2, pedal, stay in shape, then get down to space business. Back to space Earth trucking, exactly. And you know what else is cool? I got some capture equipment for external cameras. So we'd been considering the possibility of doing like hand cam streaming at some point. But we got to experiment with the different cameras that we've got. We got a couple of nice digital cameras, as well as an old GoPro that seems to work pretty well. So those could all work. But I had to buy a couple of very specific cables. bit to connect everything proper, but I was playing around with it a little earlier today, and it seems like it's all working, so that's great. Just got to set up angles and like tripods and stuff. Then we can do stuff right here, or sorry, not right here, but like right here at the desk, you know? And have little desk view of stuff going on down here, you know, where the action's at. I think that's pretty cool. It might also be nice to finish up painting the jammy model, the little 3D model, on stream, since I keep putting that off. Get the paints out, get the acrylics out, do some touch-ups, put that jamwich together finally. And then we could finally release the files like I've always wanted to. Super duper. Just gotta make sure the desk is clean enough that it's not incriminating, that we're not giving anything away here. So yeah, it's been productive, this first little weekend of joblessness. Now, it's not gonna last forever, mind you. You know, eventually we're gonna have to think about doing something to generate a positive cash flow, as it were. You know, some side hustle, some scheme. Spaceman, we're full of schemes, you know? Rackets, hijinks, that sort of thing. Gotta find some way to turn it into profitability. That's the ticket. That's the real challenge. But the jorblessness has also given us time to plan out events that are coming up. So, like I said about the helmet, we might not get it done in time for Fan Expo TO, but that's coming up at the end of the month. That's going to be fun. And it does seem now like we're going to be showing up at Japan Fest Mississauga. That'll be fun too. That's one I've not been to before, but we've got friends of the show who are going, and they might be roping us into some events, so that'll be fun. Always fun with friends. Oh, and big news, well, not big news, but news that I'm excited about. We're going to be doing a karaoke stream this weekend, either Thursday or Friday or Saturday. I don't 100% know which day yet, but it's going to be happening. We had to call off the last one. I had wanted to do one last weekend. Or was it last weekend? Or not this past weekend, but the weekend before. We had to call it off because our space neighbors were home earlier than I'd anticipated, so you know, we don't want to be bothersome space neighbors. We want to be respectful when we're belting out tunes. So, of course, that brings up the age-old question. If anybody wants to hear specific requests for the next show, you let us know. Already got a few new tracks in mind. I was listening to Very Cherry's stream yesterday. She was singing some songs I'd never heard before. So I want to add at least one of those to the roster because it was cool. But of course, we take on all requests. Stretch our vocal muscles. Do what we can, you know? Now, I wanted to show you guys something. So, while I was going to get my teeth done today, let's see if I can't set up this image here, because I want to show it off. Where is it? What's up, Robo? How you doing? I'm about to show you something. I'm about to show you something majestic. I'm about to show you something fantastic. I found this. I'm good, how are you? I am fine, thank you. It is our first Tuesday stream of the jobless era. I'm feeling fine, I'm feeling dandy, and I'm about to be feeling this. Check this out here. Bam. So this is a battery can of NOS energy drink. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, this is exactly what Jolt Cola used to look like. Which was a product they used to sell here a bajillion years ago. It was this super caffeinated drink. And this looks to be the closest market equivalent that I can find right now. I'm reading the back of it. I'm reading nutritional facts. And nutrition is a stretch, let's be honest. More like a warning. Why, this has got over 1/4 of our daily recommended carbs and sodiums. It's got 900% of our daily recommended vitamin B12, as well as over 300% of our daily recommended vitamin B6. I don't even know what those vitamins are good for. But what I do know is that I'm going to have enough for over a week, just from one little can of this. I say little can, the thing's bigger than 2 fists here. But I'm going to crack this open. I'm going to try this for the first time. And we're going to see what happens to us chemically over the course of a stream. Because if it turns out to taste like I remember Jolt Cola tasting, then I'm going to be wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. Because I'm not going to be able to stop drinking it. And then it's going to send me on flashbacks. And then before you know it, we're going to be playing Halo 3 on stream again. Home from work for the day, going for some TTRPG prep. Nice, nice. We were just talking about, we were on a TTRPG event stream on, well, last Tuesday, and that's why we couldn't stream last Tuesday. Our friend of the show, Azabiel, was doing that stream. Why don't I just... That's a good point, Spaceman. Why don't you just shout out Az? Az does a whole bunch of different campaigns, tabletop content. So the game we were playing was Daggerheart. You've probably heard of that, even if you haven't played it, because it's sort of the new kid on the block, along with the other one, Draw Steel. Those are like the two new big ones that were sort of crowd-funded by these like YouTuber communities. So Daggerheart's the one that's sort of an offshoot of, what are they called? Critical Role? But what's the actual name of, that might be the actual name of the group. But I think it's also the name of the game. But that's Daggerheart. And Daggerheart is pretty cool. I have heard of it, seems sick. So the thing that makes it sick is the fact that there is a very easy to use, in-depth, well put together character builder and like online character sheet that'll do like auto rolling and stuff for you, and will like handle like all your downtime actions and stuff like that. It makes it very, very easy to play. Because I think if all that stuff weren't set up, we definitely would have had a lot harder time with it. No lie whatsoever. But I've also played a few games of that other one, Draw Steel, and that one's super rad as well. I'm probably more of a fan of that one right now. But no huge complaints about Daggerheart. I think the rolling mechanic, the like hope and fear stuff is a little gimmicky. I've always been a fan of D12s. I think that's a great die. I think it's great because you can get decimal values, and you can also get a couple of special values as well. I think they're great if you were to try to do like a roll and keep system. I think it would be perfect for that. But they're just utilizing it for like slightly different like critical success odds and stuff like that, which is fine. It still works. Been playing Cyberpunk Red for my latest. It's a blast. I believe it. Like, I'm such a fan of the Cyberpunk setting. I only got around to playing like an hour's worth of the Cyberpunk 2077 game when it first came out, because I was one of the people who got like plagued with bugs. I know people who, like, day one, they were playing through it, no problems whatsoever. But for me, it was buggy. So I just sort of put it off, didn't go back to it. But at this point, it's been at least a year or two, right? It's got to be at least 2 years. They must have ironed out all the kinks at this point, right? Plus, I'm pretty sure, because I just saw this today when I was browsing Steam, it's like, yeah, look at this, 65% off. What a steal. You can buy Cyberpunk 2077 for 28 Canadian dollars. Wow. You can get it along with the expansion, Phantom Liberty, for just over 50 Canadian dollars. That's a pretty good deal. Doing the pre-made mission that takes place after the ending of the anime. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they worked that in at all. That's pretty cool. I think that, like, I've got no first-hand account of it because I've never done the Cyberpunk tabletop game, though I imagine that would be right up my alley, like straight up my alley, to the point where I may as well just start GMing a game of my own if I want to see that happen. But I'll bet that anime, like, really brought in a lot of people. It's so good. I know, I saw the series. And the game itself seems rad. Now, what was it? Because I know that if you bought a copy of 2077, you got within the game files like a PDF version of one of the RPGs. So was that Cyberpunk Red? Or was that one of the older ones? Or is Cyberpunk Red one of the older ones? You know what, let's just Google this. Let's just look this up. Cyberpunk Red. We're just learning things today. Wikipedia. Please explain. You got the easy mode for Red. So Red's like the intro version, is that it? It was released in November 14th, 2020, meant to be the latest edition. Okay. Wait a minute, when did Cyberpunk 2077 come out? It came out in 2020, at the tail end of 2020? Oh my goodness. Alright, forget 2 years or whatever, it's... Where did time go? My goodness. Newest version, but then there's easy mode meant for introducing people to TTRPGs. Okay, so that's like a little, I'm not going to say dumbed down, but like simplified. It's like streamlined maybe. That reminds me of like D&D Essentials that they tried to pull at the tail end of 4th edition. Be like, all right, let's make it easier. You know, let's make this nice and simple. Everybody can understand. We'll chop up some of these character options. We'll make it work for everybody. But that is cool. Here's the thing, if I start looking into cyberpunk stuff, I'm gonna get stuck in a rabbit hole, as it were. Then they drop the Edge Runners mission kit, which includes pre-made characters and everything. Well, easy peasy then, right? I don't hate that for the most part. Like, I'm a big fan of like make your own characters and stuff like that, but like when we were learning how to play Daggerheart before we did the recorded game, we were just playing with like pre-made characters. Yeah, that came right out of the box. Teach you how the mechanics work. Very helpful, very useful. Man, I just want to fight corporations in a cyberpunk dystopia, man. But, you know, without the added stress of having to do that in real life. Party's still learning the game, so we're just using the pre-gens with our own appearances and backstories. Nice. You just fill in the blanks. You fill in the fluff. That's a good way to go about it. Maybe I could trick some of our VTubing friends into doing a cyberpunk game. We'd have to be sneaky about it. We'd have to be conniving. We'd have to finesse it. Maybe we could make it happen. Oh, not to suggest that we have been entirely productive in this weekend that we've had of joblessness so far. But I also finally got to, well, I shouldn't say finally because it just came out. But I caught the new season of King of the Hill. I thought that was gonna suck hard. So hard, so suck. Because when they put out those trailers for it, they were not showing their best material. They were showing really janky animation. On the whole, it's kind of hit or miss, but it is still a fun watch. There's 10 episodes that came out with this new season. I think it's pretty cool. It got some laughs out of me. I would recommend. And they sort of set themselves open for another season. So who knows if they're going to just keep bringing it back and bringing it back and bringing it back. We'll see. I think the show that I'm still loving most this season, though, is City the Animation. Just because I was such a big Nichijou fan. This show's hitting so many of the same... It's itching so many of the same spots, you know? What have you guys been watching these days? What's grabbing your attention? Let the Spaceman know. We've only got, time on our hands right now. Gotta fill it up with something. Got recommended Severance yesterday. Friend of the show, Pomato, was raving about that. She's watching it right now. I've seen nothing but good things about it, but I kind of don't entirely know what it is. I thought it was a business thing or a period piece, but it seems like it might also be a sci-fi thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm interested at the very least. It's good to be interested. But the problem is if we get too hard into too many series, then we definitely won't have time for some of our side projects, side hustles, side schemes, what have you. You know. All right, hold up here. It's time to crack open this bad boy. Oh, it's mighty sealed. Okay, now the other concern about this, of course, is that we are, what's the word? Not quite intermittent fasting, but just not eating a whole lot in general. Oh my goodness! Rumble and friends! Well, there's a cat in my chat. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the show. This is the Vector Spaceman Show, and I am your host, the Vector Spaceman. Thanks for tuning in tonight on this lovely, lovely Tuesday. How are you guys doing? Hiya, Leon. Hey, Azure, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Were you having fun playing video games on a Tuesday? Let's go ahead and give a big shout out here. Friends of the show, we've alluded before. Rumble here, big friend of the show, who's just started their own streaming VTubing adventures. Definitely check them out. A fantastic little cat. Doing fantastic little things. Self-produced, independent virtual streamers. That's what we love to see around here. Know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Definitely check them out. You were playing tonight. Stars and Time? Stars in Time? Stars in Time. Time and Stars. It's star time. Crab yeah, crab yeah. Did you finally beat the king? Or did you get wasted yet again? It's star time. It's star time, Robo. That's right. In Stars and Time. Nailed it. First time. I knew we had it. It's been fun watching Rumble play through that. I was in there briefly before we got the stream started up tonight. It's this cool little game where you're like stuck in a time loop. You're trying to defeat, you know, evil kings and what have you. Very fantasy. But the dialogue's really fun. And I think that's the main draw, because you're like looping back in time and you're talking to your party members and stuff like that, and new dialogue options will open up. So it's a really cool concept, especially if you like reading. And who doesn't love reading and doing little voices? It's a good streaming game, it seems like. Because you get to stay engaged. You get to stay talking. There's a lot going on. We were just about to crack open some chemicals. It's one of those nights. So check this out. Rumble, you might remember we used to down these on the daily, or something like this. This is a battery can of NOS energy drink, and it's the closest thing on the market that I could find to Jolt Cola, which they used to sell way back in the day. Breathe in the chemicals. Most F. Oh no, what do you mean? What do you mean? What could go wrong? What could go wrong here, Rumble? Oh yes, oh yes, in the battery can though. No, there used to be a product called Jolt Cola that used to get sold in basically the same containers as these, and effectively with the same caffeine and vitamin amounts. There's a lot of ratings on the back of this can that go over 300, 900% of daily recommended dosage. And I'm just thinking, if it ends up tasting like anything I remember, then it's gonna send us on a journey, because I'm just gonna not stop drinking these. I think the worst case we ever got was 2 in the same day. At which point we were just sort of vibrating with the universe, you know? Couple cans of these, some nerds, pounding them back, and before you know it, we're playing Halo 3 on stream again. Not recommended, listen, not doctor recommended, sure. Sure, but are we gonna trust these quacks? Are we gonna trust these professionals, these scientists? It didn't kill us then. With the nerd's rope, look at it coming back. Fantastic. All right, so here we go. We'll do a little audio test here. Oh, jeez! All right, it's a good thing we didn't freak out there. So that was like a gunshot, opening that up. Okay. Just hearing the word Halo makes me want to re-download and hop on. Listen, it's good times. I don't think we've popped that game open in months, but it's good times. All right, let's try that again. We'll try this a little more gently now. We gotta finesse it. We gotta ease into it. Okay, the carbonation is gone. All right, smell-wise, we get a little sniff test. Definitely smells more like a conventional energy drink. So not quite the cola that we're going for. Hold it over a basin? A basin? No. It's good. It's all good. We only had the overflow once, and that's because we used to put nerds into the Jolt Cola, and, chemistry would occur. It's very much like the Homer Simpson clip. See you in hell, candy boys. All right, taste test. Here we go. More like a monster is what I'm tasting. More like that. Doesn't inspire me to pound back, a couple of, double fisting these things. The sweet scent of jet fuel? Most definitely. Listen, it goes down smooth and clean like gasoline. It's pure fuel. It's pure fuel. It keeps us motivated, keeps us energized, keeps us fluidated. It's a multi-purpose drink. Poetry. That's what they call us. They should have sent a poet. They send the Vector Spaceman. Take a little more swig. There we go. The only danger I can think of is that that's pretty much all we've got in the tank. Because I think it's been, 2 days since we last ate. But there's reasons for that. We had a big dinner with some friends. Got to go out, see some folks, some of the Vector Space fam that we haven't seen in a while. Good times, having some drinks. Another thing we haven't done in a while. Because we don't usually get our drink on. But we had a lovely little evening with some old friends. So we indulged. Good times, good times. Anywho, we was just catching up because this is the first Tuesday stream we've had since we left the job. On account of last Thursday. Why did we do it last? Oh, right, because last Tuesday we were doing that tabletop stream that I was just talking to you about. Robo. Got to do a fun little Daggerheart session with friends of the show Galaxy Jamwich and Ava the Femboy and Alpine Showtime. Good times all around, some turgid adventure. Gotta hydrate. You know what? I feel like I do gotta hydrate. Give me a sec here. In fact, let's all take a moment. Let's all take a moment to hydrate. I'll pop that freebie right in the chat. There we go. Everybody take a drink. How does it play? I've been wanting to try Daggerheart soon. I'll tell you, Azure. Because we appreciate fine TTRPG aficionados. So Daggerheart plays very well, especially online, because it actually has a very well put together character creator and digital, character sheet, which does a whole lot of auto rolling for you and tracks downtime actions and stuff like that. Auto sets up your equipment and damage thresholds and all the funky unique stuff for the system. I never have to worry about it because it's all built right into this digital character sheet. If we were playing in person instead of online like we've been doing, then I feel like I would have had a little more trouble with it, getting used to things, remembering how things worked. But they've done a very, very good job of setting this up, and this is through Demiplane is the service that hosts the character builder. You love that? I like that. Here's the thing. I love the concept, the idea of tabletop role-playing games that I was sort of sold on as a wee Vector space boy, which is the pen and paper, the dice, little miniatures sometimes, a very nebulous concept of how RPGs were supposed to work. Because I would see them and I would not understand, how they were being played. I would just know that there were these thick books, these tomes, these inscrutable, these nebulous, these impermeable, arcane rules, you know, that I didn't have a solid understanding of. And it mystified me. It enchanted me. I wanted to know how that got played. And so eventually, when I did get around to getting into tabletop games through like L5R and the, 3.5 D&D and stuff like that, I loved tracking everything. Like, I loved having those sheets and being like, okay, I've got X number of ropes and arrows and torches and doodads, and I wanted to know how many coins and stuff that I had. Whereas, you know, more experienced DMs and GMs and what have you, they try to like offload that stuff. They try to like hand wave a lot of the record keeping, whereas I still love doing that stuff. I still love having, you know, a ledger. I still love having all my gear and trying to figure out, all right, what do I ditch? What do I get to carry with me? I'm the type of player as well who will always be like, you know, when a fight breaks out, it'll be like, okay, I gotta take off my backpack and I gotta get my stuff ready because I can't, you know, just abstract the idea of, you know, tumbling in all that gear, you know what I mean? I think with Red, I found my favorite tabletop, and I don't know if I can ever go back to anything else. Cyberpunk would have such a hold on me as soon as I got playing. I know that for a fact because I've played World of Darkness. I've played like Vampire and stuff like that. And it seems like the closer you get to like modern day stuff, I get really invested in that. I get really interested in that sort of thing. And Cyberpunk is, well, I was gonna say, unfortunately, getting closer and closer to what we're living through right now, you know? Cosmic Barrels, how you doing? Yo, 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 and say hello to chat. You'd love to play Vampire one day? Vampire the Masquerade is one of the coolest games that I have played. And you know what's even cooler? Is the Vampire the Masquerade LARP groups. They'll do like parlor LARPs for VTM, and they're so cool. Well, I shouldn't say they're so cool because they're populated by geeks and dorks and what have you. And they're gonna do geek and dork things. But conceptually, very, very cool. Very obsessed with the entire cyberpunk setting. I know, same. I want to, and here's the thing, I'd go wild in it. I'd want to know, you know, exactly what sort of augments my character has, and what sort of, you know, processing speed and chips and all this nonsense, right? I get very invested in the, and I now I know exactly where that stems from. Like, from a young age, I got very invested in the fictitious mechanics of fictional settings, and specifically science fiction settings. Star Trek stuff, Star Wars stuff, you know, all that good jazz. And I say this without any exaggeration, Vector Spaceman probably knows more about the made-up internal mechanics of lightsabers than almost any other living human being. We were that interested as a young space boy. It just grabbed us, and it never let go. Geeks and dorks know how to party? They definitely do. But you gotta be ready for it. That sounds fun. It's mad fun, and there used to be a group right below the station. Right below us here. Where we're hovering over in geosynchronous orbit. I DM'd you on Discord. If you're interested in playing Cyberpunk, I got a spot available in the group. I'm DMing, but we're on a kind of tight schedule. Well, I'm gonna take a look at that as soon as I get the opportunity. Thank you so much, Robo. I feel like if you're already on a tight schedule, then maybe now is not the best time, because it is summertime. It's in full effect, and we want to, you know, make the most of it where we can, when we can. But I would definitely love to give that game a shot. Someday. One day. One of these days. But where were we? How did we get here? Right. Daggerheart's very fun. I would recommend it, especially if you're playing online. I don't think it's worth having a debate over like, oh, is online better or is in-person better or anything like that. In-person's just better, but online's fine. You know? Online's fine. And in Daggerheart's case, it's more convenient. I will say that. Like in the early days, I remember when I was living over in Japan. In the Japans. I would still like Skype in to my local... This was a Legend of the Five Rings RPG game. Tabletop RPG. And they all thought, you know, I was the shiz, because I was over there living in the real Japan at the same time, while they were just playing fake Japan on their little character sheets. But whatevs. But I'd be like Skyping in 12 hours ahead or whatever, and basically having to like coordinate stuff off of my sheets, and I'd have a little webcam set up so I could see what was going on, and rolling stuff on my end and communicating to them. This was like before Foundry and like those other virtual tabletop services were really popular. So back then it sucked. I had played online TTRPGs when it sucked. Now it's fine. Now it's like, yeah, no problem whatsoever. The only drawback is always, it's always the potential where you can like lose focus. That's the only thing. But you get dorks who are like on their phones when you're playing in person anyway, so basically the same experience. One of the players in my Strahd campaign, let's go, Strahd campaign, might DM it for us later, and we're all online, so that's perfect. Nice, there you go. Oh, Robo with the hot takes. I think online is better because it definitely opens up people's schedules a bit more, especially if you have friends who can't drive. That's not a bad point, Robo. So I'm coming from an especially privileged position, I suppose, which is that all of Spaceman's TTRPG buddies are local and have always been local. So we've never really had a problem coordinating game time and stuff like that. The only exception to that is a couple of guys. We've got a really, really old, like, D&D 4th edition game that Spaceman used to run back in the day. And some of our players moved out of town for that, way across country. But luckily, I still get to go see them once or twice a year. So when we do, I'll usually have like a little adventure, like a little one-shot planned for the characters to go through, something like that, and that's always fun. That's more like, you know, just your, that's not like a, none of that is like big epic stakes though, you know? That's like little adventure of the week stuff, and that's always fun to do. But I do get your point. Yeah, if you've got folks all over the place, and especially as people get older, you know, different life struggles, different obligations and what have you. I feel ya. I feel ya. Online's also great for when half of your players are in the US and the other half is in Canada. True, true. So when we're playing with Azabel, and you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll drop that link to his video in the chat. That's the game that Spaceman was just in for the Daggerheart game. And the audio is kind of scuffed on that one, but I've been told by Az that it's gonna get better. That was me, Ava the Femboy, Galaxy Jamwich, and Alpine Showtime playing in that one. It was a nice little one-shot. And it sounds like we're going to be doing a more cogent campaign that'll go like from level 1 to 3, something like that, in the near future. So that's cool. Check it out, because Az is really cool, and he DMs a whole bunch of different systems as well. I will say the act of actually RPing is much easier in person than online, as you can see each other's faces and gestures in person. So I'm a big face guy. Yeah. I'm a big in-person type of dude. And that might seem bizarre coming from a cartoon spaceman on the internet. But it is true. Little gestures, little micro expressions, little stuff like that. Tone, body language. It's all important. It's all good. Let me take a quick swig. That's good gasoline, I tell you what. I tell you what. But apart from... Now this is just going to be the tabletop RPG hour, which is fine. Let's keep it going. Apart from Daggerheart, we also got to play some Draw Steel recently. And Draw Steel is the game that was crowdfunded by a fella whose name I can't remember. Mr... Was it another Matt? It was a Matt Colville. Colville? Something like that. Sort of his project. And that one I think I prefer to Daggerheart, at least in how I believe the in-person aspect of it would play out. Because I've only played that one in person, and it's pretty rad. It's pretty rad. Is Draw Steel also fantasy? Yes, largely yes. It is the Power Hour. Barrels, have you got any experience with TTRPGs? You let us know. We want to know what you've played. We want to know what you recommend. But yes, Draw Steel is fantasy. The like the base setting to the game. Because here's the thing: it's like you get into some games, the base setting is very important to the game itself. Games like Cyberpunk, or games like the Star Wars RPG, or games like the Legend of the Five Rings RPG, stuff like that. Where the game and the setting are basically intertwined. There's other games where you've got stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, or this Draw Steel, or Daggerheart, where it's more nebulous, right? Like you can just take out the character classes and drop them basically anywhere you want, right? You can pick and choose what sort of lore you want to take with you. So Draw Steel's base setting is largely fantasy, but it's also got like a kind of sort of spacey element to it, where there's like one or two character species that are from like other planes or other planets, that sort of thing. So kind of sort of almost Spelljammer-esque, where there's like, cosmic travel and laneways and stuff like that. Which, if you like that sort of thing, then you keep it in. And if you don't like that sort of thing, then maybe you pull it out of your home game. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of running these games. You get to pick and choose. You get to decide. I've always been interested in it, but haven't played any. They're fun. They're super fun. They're fun to play with friends. They can be fun to play with strangers. It depends. You got to get yourself a good group. You got to sort of know what level of intensity you're getting into. If you're playing with a bunch of theater kids, some over dramatic types, or if you're playing with, a bunch of dorks who just want to roll some dice, have a good time, crack some jokes. There's those sort of tables too. You got to find what fits you. Thankfully, though, I think it's never been easier to find a game these days. especially if you're a game master, a dungeon master, especially if you're running a game. You basically get your pick of the litter when it comes to what players you want. Because the ratio of GM to player has got to be astounding. I love when the communities come together to make new homebrew and DLC for tabletop RPGs too. Absolutely. That's what keeps it going. Like, it should not be a business model that works. Like, I'm always astounded by the attempts to like monetize something like Dungeons and Dragons. Or well, so many tabletop RPG projects. It's why so much of the licensed stuff, like every now and then they'll reissue a new edition of like the Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire RPG, or the Cyberpunk RPG, or the Star Wars RPG, or the L5R RPG. They'll come out with some new edition, they'll release a few things for it, and then support drops. Because I think sooner or later they always realize, okay, this is not really a money-making product in the long term. You know what I mean? Because eventually players just start making their own stuff faster than a company can output it. Support gets sort of offloaded onto the community, who will continue to make stuff, that they enjoy and share amongst themselves for free. And that's not a great business model, you know? The only one that's managed to sort of make any money off of the license has been Dungeons and Dragons. That's because they've become like the Kleenex, the Ziploc, the Oreo, the assumed name brand of an entire genre, for at least for the people outside of that sphere. Someone just looking in casually, they're going to see people rolling dice with some papers and pencils in front of them. They're going to be, oh, that's Dungeons and Dragons right there. That's D&D. That's what my, that's what my grandma told me not to play. That's what, that's what I used to see those geeks playing back in high school. That sort of thing. The indie scene is wild and I'm so here for it. Absolutely, we're all here for it. It's like they say, real hip-hop ain't on the radio. Real RPGs, it ain't in the bookstore, you know? I think I've never purchased... Here's one thing I will say. I've never opened a monster manual in my life. I've been running games for years. Years. I'm not going to say exactly how many years, because I don't want us to start doing math on the fly. We don't need to know that much about Spaceman. But I will say, like, I've just always found it so easy to, craft exactly what you need on the fly, as you need it, not relying on, like, actual books and, like, official material and stuff like that. Which is what the indie scene is built off of, you know? Share what works. I've never bought a actual rule book, you know? It's always just been PDFs shared around. I think I bought one intro like box set to D&D 3.5th edition, which me and some space buddies played through like a little like intro adventure sort of thing. And then you just take it from there. Wish I had a TTRPG group in high school. We had something God, I can't. We had basically something like that. Yeah. But nowadays, that is so common. You get, I mean, I don't want to say it's like all down to like popular culture stuff, like like Stranger Things and like the Critical Role shows and stuff like that. You know what got, like, people talk about Critical Role, but you know what got me re-hooked onto TTRPGs in terms of like real play shows? It was a series called Acquisitions Incorporated. Acquisitions Incorporated was a live show Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition group composed of webcomic artists Mike Krahulik, Jerry Holkins, Scott Kurtz, and Star Trek cast veteran Will Wheaton. So these were the artist and writer behind Penny Arcade, the artist/writer behind Player vs. Player. So these two webcomics. And then Will Wheaton, Mr. Wesley Crusher himself. And they used to do these live shows at, it started off as just like a podcast sort of thing to help promote Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition as it was being released. But they started doing these live shows, and I think, honestly, might have been the first example of TTRPG live shows. They used to do these at the Penny Arcade Expos, because, of course, you know, half the cast are the guys behind Penny Arcade, so yeah, you get to do whatever you want at your show. But they used to do these live shows, and they did them so well. They'd get costumed up. Like anybody who's doing live TTRPG stuff these days, I think owes a lot to Acquisitions Incorporated. And their DM was Chris Perkins. Chris Perkins, who worked on 4th edition and, yeah, was a big name at Wizards of the Coast until recently. I think he's just left recently to do his own stuff, do his own work. Really, really helped set the direction of how I do my own games, which is very silly stuff, very low stakes. But yeah, that's what got me sort of re-interested back in the day. I've missed a few things. I mean, I do like the monster manual to look at the picture. Well, sure, yeah, sure. But you know what? There's something to be said. These new monster manuals, though, Rumble, where it's like, you know, some absolute maniac comes out and like render paints exactly what you're seeing, you know? Some dragon, some beholder, some wyvern, some griffin, whatever you got going on, right? In stunning detail. If you ever see like the earliest editions of like the monster manuals, where it's almost like a cave painting. It's almost like a wood carving. It's almost like some scrawled out image, you know, because they were just getting whoever they could find to illustrate this stuff, right? There's something so raw and so mysterious about it. And again, this goes back to what I said earlier about like what got me hooked on RPGs as a concept as a young fella, which was, you know, the mystery, the allure. It's like, hey, look, adventurer, this is the best image we could get of this thing, you know what I mean? I really like that stuff. Art is art, art is art. Robo saying, yeah, online PDFs that you skim through whenever you need something vaguely looks like rules is the best way to play. True. But you know what? I even though I've never bought like a big, thick D&D like handbook or whatever, like online character creators really have done a lot of heavy lifting for everybody over the past years. Even I'll admit to that. Because even if you got the PDFs, you don't want to be flipping through these things, man. Trying to find bookmarks, trying to scroll through so many different options. Even I'll admit that. Not the ancient text. Listen, yeah, I was about to give away too much. I was about to give away too much. The core book had a small bestiary to work with, but for the most part, creating creatures was up to me and it was so fun. Yes, nice, nice. That's the way to do it, man. Love Critical Role, but the actual play podcast got me hooked first was TAZ Balance. Never even heard of that one. TAZ Balance. Look at me Googling stuff real quick. The Adventure Zone. Wow. There's like animated stuff. This is like, wow, this is fancy. We love a little production value. All right. We're in that terrible, terrible position here where we're going to get sniped by Jeffrey Bezos. So I'm going to chug some more Nas here. Keep me energized. We're not vibrating into the desk yet, so that's good. They got a graphic novel series, The Arcs from Balance. Well, shoot, this is a whole enterprise then. That's legit. I feel like some of the people that we interact with, like Bootbot, like some of the other people that we know that do TTRPG content on the daily, for real, they want to make it like their careers and stuff like that. Like, this would be their dream. They'd love to do this sort of thing. It's so hard to... It's the McElroys. The McElroys. The McElroys. Don't know anything about them, but I'm curious. I'm intrigued. My interest is piqued. We're going to stay piqued when we get back from this 2-minute ad. So Space Cadets, don't go nowhere. The Vector Spaceman show returns after this, unless you're lucky enough to not get hit by these ads. It does happen sometimes. But if you do, let us know what they're trying to sell you these days. I'm always interested. We'll be back right after this. Running ads, getting paid for some ads. Jeff Bezos is giving us some cash. Vector, you have to know them. Are you kidding me? Well, hold on. The only McElroys that I know are like what's the word for someone who plays sports? Athletes. Azure gonna take off. I'm gonna peace out for the Let's try that again. Start over, Spaceman. I'm gonna peace out to eat dinner and wind down for the night, but it was fun chatting. It was fun having you here, Azure. Thanks for tuning in. I hope we get to see you again. The Brothers and Me. What? Huh? Cat? What? Let me look this up here. Let's go on a journey. McElroy Brothers. I can't even spell. Oh, sorry. There's a podcast. There's a podcast called My Brother and Me. Justin, Travis, and Griffin McElroy. Distributed by Maximum Fun Network. Okay, so I'm familiar with Maximum Fun. Are we back from ads? We're 10 seconds away from being back from ads. I'm familiar. Oh, hello. Welcome. We're back from ads. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This continues to be the Vector Spaceman Show. Hope everybody is having a lovely evening. First exposure to them was Monster Factory. What the heck is Monster Factory? Monster Factory. Aliens movie, Jack in the Box. What? What are we all talking about? Cat, I think we need to face facts that you and I travel very different corners of the internet every now and then. Monster Factory. I'm familiar with MaximumFun.org because they used to, Sound of Young America. That's the show I'm familiar with. NPR. Gotcha. Who did their theme song? It was Adam Warrock. And I only know that because they also did a theme song for Johnny Wander, which was Yuko Oda and Anant Hirsch, which was a webcomic from back in the day. If I can link it to a webcomic, then I'm going to remember everything about it. Barrels, what you talking about? Aliens movie, Jack in the Box, those were your ads? Nice. Sorry, is there a new Aliens movie coming out, or is that Aliens Earth? Because I'm pretty sure that's a TV series that's getting started. And I have never been to a Jack in the Box because I'm not even 100% sure we have those in the Americas. Or sorry, in the Canadas. There might be one in BC, is what I'm being told. Can't be sure. I got rused by ads, by Twitch ads one time, because I got an ad. I was watching somebody's stream and they had to have been in Australia. So why I was getting targeted Australian ads, I don't know. But in any case, that's what I was getting. And I was getting ads for this burger chain called Hungry Jack's. And they were showing off some big char-broiled, flame-grilled Outback burger or what have you. And it was looking real good, real fine. I was like, man, that looks great. I wish we had one of those here. Wish I could try one of those. Then I find out that Hungry Jack's is just the Australian name for Burger King. I got rused. I got finessed. I got AU catfished. They were just showing me some Aussie Whopper, making it look fancy. It's not like this thing was made out of kangaroo meat or nothing. Burger King, exactly. Aye. But we can't just call it the Burger King. But the reason that they don't call it the Burger King in Australia, BK is peak. Listen, it is I'm a sucker for those onion rings, man. I really am. And it's always cheap on Wednesdays. But let's not forget. Don't look at me like that. No, listen. I feel this too, because of all the dirty, gross fast food places, there's a very special place in my heart for the BK. All right? For that gross mascot of theirs, with the ceramic face, the little crowns. And do you guys remember? Does anybody remember when they had the tie-in Xbox games for the Burger King They used to give out Xbox games at the store. Like actual licensed games where you could play as the king. And your job was to sneak around, giving people burgers. It's entirely possible that we're so generationally distant at this point that people don't remember those Burger King ads. It was called Sneak King. You're absolutely right, Barrels. I'm just gonna briefly check YouTube. See if we can find a Burger King ad. Absolutely, absolutely. Here we go. If it would load proper. If it would just do me this solid. We're going to the screen. Let's go over to the screen, you guys. Here we are. We're watching. Music, down. Screen, up. This was advertising circa 2005.
The double croissant sandwich.
You just wake up.
Egg and meat and cheese and
egg and meat and cheese. And cheese.
That's right.
That's right.
The double croissant sandwich. Wake up.
Well, to be fair, that's a double croissant sandwich. And then, you know, you wake up with the king. What's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that. Basically, all their advertising was like that for a good year or two. Just some placid, stone-faced king handing you a burger or a croissant sandwich or whatever. But the point I was making, Rumbles, was, yeah, it is kind of good, and it is kind of addictive, and I love it, and I hate that I love it. Because at the end of the day, BK is still owned by RBI, which is Restaurant Brands International, which is the Brazilian-owned mega corporation that owns BK and Tim Hortons and Firehouse Subs and all of them. And frankly, they're just run terribly. And they take advantage of a lot of bad hiring processes. Firehouse Subs goes crazy. Firehouse Subs is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It just sucks that they're also owned by this terror of a mega corpo. So it always plagues me in the back of my mind when I'm like, man, but it's Whopper Wednesdays and it's so cheap. And I love me them rings. I'm just a sucker for onion rings in general, I think. A&W, another big one. Shout out to them though, they've stayed Canadian. We gotta rep A&W when we can. It's like, actually they're like 7-Eleven, Japan, where A&W started American, but the Canadian branch bought itself out, is now its own independent thing, and is killing it, doing it much better. Very much like the 7-Elevens in Japan, bought themselves out, remain independent, are now killing it, doing it much better. You love to see it. My legs gone numb? I don't know whether to chalk that up to the way that I sit, or what we've been ingesting. The true eldritch horror, indeed. It's money. It's the nos. It might just be the nos. Maybe it's not numbness. Maybe I'm just itching to run. Maybe I'm just geared up to go sprinting like Sonic, you know? Gotta go cosplay emergency. Well, take care of that emergency then. We'll see you later, Rumble. Take care. Get some rest too, you know? Do your best. Hope things go well. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the raid again. We'll see you again real soon. I'm not gonna say it's not the Nas Robo. You too, Rumble. Have a great night. We're gonna do karaoke again sometime this week. Probably Thursday or Friday or Saturday. We'll see you later. Rumble, you guys. Remember, if you're not checking out Rumble, make sure that you do, because Rumble's cool. Rumble is a member of the extended Vector Space fam. Big shoutouts to my favorite cat. What do you mean I have to wait 8 minutes before giving another shout out? This right here. This is discriminatory. This is ill-advised. This is prejudicial. This is rude, is what that is. BK is grotesque, but also somehow peak. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Alright, you know what you guys are getting for free? It's a little knuckle cracks. If you hate the sound, go ahead and cover your ears for 10 seconds. Here we go. Ooh, that's good stuff. Ah, the elbows. Alright, now we're all nice and limbered up. What else have we got to chit-chat about tonight? Sheesh. Question is, now that we have all this great power, and by extension, great responsibility, it comes from sucking down, at this point, half a battery of Nas. What do we do with ourselves? I kind of like that there is a fruitiness to it that's almost monster-esque. Because here's the thing. It keeps me from chugging it back too quick, like I used to do with the Jolt. Which means less of a risk of overstimulation, which is great. Keeping us safe, keeping us sound, keeping us sturdy. Keeping us on the straight and narrow. So we can't find another one of these BK ads. Trying to find... No. Give me the king. Give me that awful looking... Oh, shoot. Okay. So here's another whole advertising. Peak era. Let's check this. Why have they just like swept him under the rug? Where's justice for the king, man? Now that you're drinking it, does it remind you of your Jolt Cola or whatever it says it looked like? No. So that's the thing. First of all, not a cola. Second of all, it's just the can. It's got the exact same battery can that it used to come in. I mean, were you here when I opened this thing off? Like, it went off like a gunshot. That's what I remember. I remember smoke coming out of this can when I opened it up. You knew you were about to get pure fuel. But no, in terms of taste, nothing like it. Like I said, it tastes more like a Monster Energy or something like that. Specifically, I think it tastes more like the... It tastes a lot like the... Let me see if I got one here. The Ultra Fiesta Mango, or something like that. Not to suggest that I might know a thing or two, or that I might have a bit of an abuse problem here. Would you put it in your car's engine if given the chance? So here's the thing about my car. You guys know about the Vector Space Buggy, don't you? Did you get to see my super cool car, Robo? You know what? We'll just show it off again. We'll just show it off again. We'll just show off the Vector Space car. There he is. Oh yes, that's our car. That's our car right there. Whoo boy. Beautiful orange, volcanic orange, Mini Cooper, perfectly sized for a spaceman. It's so sick. I went on such a journey just to source this thing, just to find this thing. Easily the finest looking one in the province. But you know what the problem is? Now I can't like sneak around because it's so recognizable. Everywhere I go. If there's somebody that I know, they'll be like, "Oh, I saw you out driving the other day." Even when it's not me, even if there's a similar volcanic orange Mini Cooper out there somewhere in the wide Canada, somebody call me up. They're, "Vector, did I see you in so-and-so a place? I saw your car the other day." I was like, "No, was not me." So it really, you know, really cuts into, you know, my potential to do heists and crimes and schemes. Because it's just such a head turner. It's so noticeable. So would I put this in my car's engine? Maybe. My car's only supposed to get good gas. Like technically you're not even supposed to put like regular gas in it. You're supposed to put the fancy gas in it. I feel like we could probably dilute a little NOS in there though. If it's good enough to go in me, I feel like it's good enough to go in the Space Buggy. Give it a little treat, you know? Give it a little sip every once in a while. A little reward, you know, for doing such a good job. But of course, the Vector Spaceman public service announcement for the evening. Space Cadets, don't put energy drinks in your fuel tank. Put them where it belongs. In your gullet. You know? In your own fuel tank. Now, speaking of sticking things in your fuel tank, check this out. So, I wanted to show you guys this ad as well, because this just got recommended to me. More BK shenanigans. Here, let's go back over to the big screen. Check it out. Check it out. I love this one. Where is my display? There we go.
Meat. Soda.
There's the boy. Yes. This is body acting like I've never seen. Like snake.
Yes, you do. Unhinge your jaw.
Oh man.
Eat like snake. Oh, you know I gotta eat like snake. Eat like snake.
Like snake. Oh, Onion, how you doing?
Burger King Triple Whopper. Eat like a snake.
I don't understand this ad at all, if I'm being honest, because this guy is speaking English. The background stuff, like, I'm pretty sure this was filmed in Korea. So I can see Hangul on the vending machine. I don't know what was going on here, but I'm here for it. Onion, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Meg. Meg's a longtime friend of the show. I'm sure she's going to appreciate that. You eat like snake. What's wild is this says that video is 17 years old. Which would make that a video from 2008? if my math is correct. And that's if they uploaded it like as it came out. So it could even be older. Which is wild. But anyways, that's how I've been eating ever since. We just unhinge our jaw. Big cracks. Just all up in there. That's why we only eat every few days. You need time to digest. You gotta gorge and rest, you know? Just like a snake. Advertising used to be a medium all unto itself, didn't it? I can't remember the last ad that I was like, man, I gotta show you this. I gotta show you something. You gotta check this out. And I pull it up on my phone, or I sit somebody down in front of a laptop. Be like, you gotta check this out, man. The era of just sharing videos. It used to feel like there was so much out there. And let's be honest, the fact that the internet was around and we could finally see stuff from like Japan and stuff like that, that was a big contributor. Because I remember when I first saw like those like Boss Coffee ads with like Tommy Lee Jones and stuff like that. Whole new world of bizarre and foreign and intriguing advertisement. Man. Actually, I saw an ad for not an ad for, I saw a trailer for a film called Rental Family. Starring Brendan Fraser. And he plays like this rental actor for families in Japan, which is an actual thing that, like there are services in Japan. It's not like a widespread thing, but there's like a handful where you can like rent a person to act as like your significant other or like as your friend or like as your parents or something like that to sort of like fill in social situations. And so that has sort of become the central conceit of this film, which I guess was showcasing at TIFF, at the Toronto International Film Festival. Which would have been great to go see if I'd known about it. But now it's getting released in November, I think, and I want to see it, because that looks neat. You should look at the Long Long Man ads. Speaking of weird oh, well, the Long Long Man ads are just classics. So why don't we take a look at the Long Long Man commercials? Cake mix commercials from the 70s and 80s. What's up with cake mix commercials from the 70s and 80s, Orange Onion? What are we in for there? Okay, so I think this is the whole mix. I think this is the whole saga, the whole story. So strap in, everybody. Strap on. Stay strapped. Long, long man. Give it to us.
どうしたの？
トールさんが避ける組咲いてる時の顔が好き。
そう？
もっと長く見てたいな。
Long, long
Man.
危ないねあの人。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
キリンさんが見て手長猿。こっちはゾウさんだ。
ちーちゃんは長いのが好きなんだね。
別に意識してるわけじゃないけど。
気のせいか。
This guy. Mr. Steal Your Gum over here.
前にも言ったねあの長い人。
I just love
避ける組
the
対長い
boyfriend's
避ける組。
出先
reactions
で
to
避
all
ける組
this.
のマンゴー見つけてさ。
本当？
バイク便で送ったから。そろそろ吹くと思うよ。
すごいタイミング。
サインお願いします。
That's your guy.
ちいちゃん聞こえてる？
届いたよ。ありがとう。
マンゴー味珍しいから
Tom,
た
what
くさ
you
ん買
gonna
ったん
do?
だ。今度2人で食べようね。
Torrid.
おーいちいちゃん。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
Steamy.
それ触ってみてもいいですか？
どうぞ。
長い。これどうやって咲くんですか？
こんな風に。すいません。
That's good.
あ
No!
避ける組対長い避ける組。
Chi-chan, no!
ーい。
電話出ないから心配になって。
ちょっと寝込んでて。
これ持ってきたから一緒に食べよう。
今日はちょっと待って、今はダメ。
My God. The betrayal.
あいつが来てたんだ。
避ける組対
Tearing up the gum.
ちいちゃん、どうして俺じゃなくてこいつなんだよ。
それは
ああ、そうかい。長けりゃいいのかい。ビロービロー。やめて、海がかわいそう。ビロよ。ちいちゃん。
黙っててごめん。実は私もう長くないの。だから長いものを見ると安心できるの。
The stakes.
避ける組対長い避ける組。
どうしてそんな猿芝居したの？目移りするの地位の悪い癖だよ。
だって長いんだもん。
長さに騙されてんじゃねえよ。避ける組一袋分並べていくと、ほら同じ
Math.
長さになるの。食べやすいようにわざわざ切ってあるんだよ。
You see,
トールさん優しい。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
ちいちゃん聞いてもいい？
何？
プロポーズってどんな風にされたい？
but
正
like,
直に言ってごらん。
what happens if you see these ads out of
フラッシュモブはいい
order?
かな。
Like how?
なんかこっぱずかしいし、フラッシュモブ以外で。
ちいちゃん、僕と結婚。
Oh God, I remember this one. This is just advertising at its max.
長い避ける組。
ちいちゃん。
ダメ。結婚式までお預け。
シェー。おやすみ。
おやすみ。
Like this ad campaign would work perfectly if you were getting hit with like one of these ads over the course of like a 2-hour special or something like that.
すいません。
Like back to back every time you go to a
避け
commercial
る組
break.
対長い避ける組。
叫んじゃねえぞ。はたぼうよ。
Oh, here we go. The pièce de résistance. Long. The tails. Oh my god.
してくれると思ってた。
避ける組対長い避ける組。
私、長い間あなたのこと待ってたの。トールさんごめんなさい。私のことは忘れて。分かったでしょ？私はひどい女なの。
ああ、もうやだ。どうしていつも俺の前に払われるんだよ。
一目見た時から君のことが。
Yes. Go for it. The flashbacks. I love this. Can I just get an instrumental version of this sax?
トール君。
俺？嘘だろ。
高いったのに。どうして？
僕らはきっと分かり合える。
These are two men who understand gum.
触ってみてもいいですか？
きっとみんな分かり合える避ける組
And her freak out in the
長い
background.
避ける組
That's an ad campaign. By golly. I don't know how it gets much better than that. I don't know if it can get better than that. Somebody has made a full remake version of the Sakeru Gum commercial song. Let's give it a listen. Listening party right now. It's just gonna be the sax.
Long, long
It's a 1 minute intro song or insert song. I wonder if they... Okay, there's a little bit of artifacting there. I feel like they ran it through one of those like, yeah, one of those audio remover softwares or something. At first I thought, okay, did they just stitch together the different commercials and try to find spots where there wasn't any voiceover? Unfortunately, it just seems like a kind of shoddy, one of those like AI vocal removers, something like that. That's still fun though. That's still fun. Just gets worse and worse. Yeah, you can hear more and more of it coming through, unfortunately. What else have we got to talk about tonight? It's been, I feel like, 2 months at this point since we've actually done games on this show. And I want to keep that going as long as we can. Because I've said this before, I just really like doing these chatting streams. A lot more fun. Oh my god, check this out. Okay, back to the screen. Back to checking this out. I just got recommended this video here. I think we should all enjoy this. It's the long, long man himself. He's in some sort of interview.
皆さんこんにちは、小沢幸義です。僕が演じたのはですね、長い男という役柄でした。最初こう聞いた時になかなか変わっているタイトルだなと。で、そこにすごくキャッチーなので惹かれたっていうのはありますね。それでまあ今回のこのちょっとストーリー仕立てになっておりまして、まあ自分がそこでですね、謎の長い男という役柄を演じさせてもらいまして、まあある健康的な避けるグミが好きなカップルがいましてですね、しかもその女の子が避けるグミがとても好きで興味を非常に持っている。で、まあ幸せなカップルがいるんですけれども、そこに突如何の意味もなく、そして前触れもなく現れるこの長い男。そしてその彼女がですね、その男が持っているその長いものに、長いものっていうとなんか変ですね。長いこうグミじゃないその長い避けるグミにですね、こうもう抗いようもなくこう惹かれていってしまうという。そしてまあそこに先にあるのは、それは果たして幸せなのか幸福なのか、それとも少しの悲しみがあるのか、まあそれはですね今回ストーリー仕立てになっているので、見ていただけたら、 なんか皆さん楽しんでいただけるんではないかと思っております。まあこう自分もねよく私生活でね顔が濃いだとか長すぎるだとかいろいろ言われるんですけれどもまあそんな自分をキャスティオとして使っていただいたユーハー百蔵さんにありがとうと、申したいのと同時にですね素晴らしいコマーシャルが出来上がりました。ぜひ見ていただけると嬉しいです。皆さんこの避けるグミって食べたことありますか？このね、もちろん美味しいんですよ。美味しいんですけどこの長い避けるグミこれもねものすごく美味しいんですよ。皆さんこの避けるグミと長い避けるグミ、長い方もですねこのまあ長すぎない方もですねぜひ食べてみてください。とっても美味しいですよ。よろしくお願いします。長い小沢ゆきありがとうございました。
Long Man. What a classic. But here's the thing, like that's a ad campaign that only really works when you're seeing it back to back. Like what if you just what if they're just airing the middle part of that story and you've got no idea what's going on? Do I head to Japan often? So it's been a few years since I was last there. 'Cause like Rona and stuff. It was not a good time to travel for a minute. Nowadays, I feel like it's probably one of the best times you could go. Because the yen is devaluated, which is not good for Japan, mind you, but in terms of being an international traveler, I'm just saying. You'd get more mileage out of your money. Which is why you see so many what do you call them? Influencers and stuff going over. All these foreign travelers messing the place up, doing their own thing, being all disrespectful. You hear about that all the time. You're a little confused? It was this wonderful advertising campaign out of Japan for Sakeru Gummy. It was called Long Man, and it's a classic. But when I was traveling back and forth, I'd go like every few years, yeah. Take some friends with me, take some family with me, show them around. I got to be a pretty good tour guide, as it were. On account of I can speak enough to get around and all that. These days it's a lot easier because you got like translation software that makes it a lot simpler. If you're in a big city like Tokyo or Kyoto, then they're going to have a lot of English language signage and stuff like that just because they're used to travelers. But outside of the major cities, like, you still need either to have like a smartphone that's got something you can translate with or to have somebody to help you get around. Because even though English is a part of the like grade school curriculum, unfortunately they're not super good at it and they don't take it super seriously for the most part. Because here's the thing is that you can, if you're born in Japan and raised up in Japan, you can have an entirely comfortable, successful life in Japan, just speaking Japanese for the rest of your life, without ever having to go anywhere or learn any other language. It's weirdly, it's like one of the top 10 or top 15 most spoken languages in the world as like a first language, strictly because of how many people there are in Japan. Because they've got like over 120, 130 million people or something like that, just in Japan, speaking Japanese. Japan population 2025. 123 million people. All of whom are speaking Japanese. Top languages by native tongue. Japanese is number 13. Okay. English, number 1. Word number 1, you guys. Let's go. But you know, that's because we've got the Anglosphere, right? We've got the US, we got Canada, we got England, Scotland, Ireland, we got Wales, we got Australia, we got New Zealand. There's so many countries where English is the first language. All those Caribbean countries, Jamaica, South Africa, all the, well, I guess technically Afrikaans is probably considered their real native language, isn't it? But there's so many former colonial countries where English is still the first language. So that really pumps our numbers up. And then after that, it's exactly what you expect, like Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish, Arabic, all that kind of stuff. Portuguese. Now, Portuguese is a number 8 on this list that I'm looking at right here, and you wouldn't expect that until you remember that Brazil exists. And then it all makes sense. But yeah, Japanese, number 13, with 123 million peoples. Brazil is huge. Love me some Brazil. I think Portuguese is just a cool language. I've heard it described as like somebody trying to speak Spanish but you're drunk, which is not a flattering way of describing it. But when you hear it, you kind of be like, yeah, okay, I see where they're coming from. I get what they mean. And yeah, it's full of Brazilians, which gets those Portuguese numbers up. One time, I pretended not to speak English in Japan because I didn't want to get engaged by somebody who was trying to get donations for like a charity thing. They were coming at me in English. I was like, ego shabereru nai or whatever. Ego dekimasen. Don't speak English. Cool, man. And they're asking me, oh, where are you from? I'm like, Portugal. And then they start hitting me with the Portuguese because I forgot that there is a big history between Japan and Portugal. So they're talking about, yes, sim, terremoto, trying to explain, oh, earthquake relief and stuff like that. I was like, sim. And I just had, jikan ga nai, I got no time, I gotta get out of here. Crossing the street, get myself out of that situation. I've been told Portuguese speakers understand Spanish, but Spanish don't always understand Portuguese. I got another good example of that. I will leave that until 2 minutes from now, though, because we got to run another one of these terrible ads. Tell me what you get advertised for. See if anything we've been showing on the stream has started to influence it. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go nowhere. The Vector Spaceman Show continues. Boy, we got that one right down to the line. Tell you what, we need a real hydration break here. I'm talking H2O. Take a swig with me, cadets. Sound off if you didn't get stuck in the ad. In the meantime, because I don't know how much longer we're going to be going, we could check on the old twitch.tv. See who else is streaming tonight. Aw yeah, look at all my friends streaming tonight. It gets dry in space, it gets mighty dry in space, on yon. Got a Slurpee but no water? A Slurpee is like 90% water. You just gotta give it time. Just gotta give it time to warm up. Time to melt. Time to appreciate. Time to air, you know? What's you guys' favorite Slurpee flavor? Let's go back behind the desk here. We've got 3 options for you guys. We got Astro Orange, we got Lunar Lime, and we got Blue. Blue's a very important color. Very important flavor. That's what we got on tap here at Harbor Station. Whatever you guys are feeling, you let me know. That's one of the oldest interactives that I've still wanted to get done here, is getting people to be able to like redeem and get something out of the Slurpee machine. Definitely blue, right? Definitely blue. That's the cultured person's choice. The drink du jour. Where was I? So I wanted to talk about X can understand Y, but Y can't understand X, because Eon was just talking about the Portuguese-Spanish mix. The same is true of French speakers and Quebecois speakers. So here in Canada, we've got this goofy little corner of the country that used to be called New France. And New France, if you can believe it, was a colonial power of actual France from Europe. You know, good old France. But eventually, England got so invested in, what do they call it? Upper Canada. That a treaty was made where, all right, we're going to confederate into one country. From east to west, from Atlantic to Pacific, right? What a stunning origin for a country known as Canada. But it means we got saddled with this group of yahoos who had just been living in the woods for 500 years, trapping beavers, speaking French without any input from actual France. And so the language is sort of taken on its own thing. It's like Creole French, you know, like they got down in like Louisiana. It's like you leave people in the swamp for a few hundred years, they're going to start messing around. You're going to stop being so fancy all of a sudden. Same is true of up here. So now the French, they can't understand the Quebecois. And did any of you guys see the film Prey? This is a film that came out a few years ago. It's an entry in the Predator series. But it takes place during French and English colonial times. And there's a couple of background characters in it. And I'm not going to spoil stuff, but there's a couple of background characters who are speaking French while stuff's going on. But they went and they hired Quebecois actors. So they're speaking their French, like Quebecois, Acadian, whatever French. And apparently international French speakers had a very hard time understanding what the heck these guys were saying. Or so I've been told. And I think that's a funny little anecdote. Anecdote. Whether it's true or not, it got a chuckle out of me, and now I get to tell you guys. Enjoy. Ooh-ah. Anybody get any ads? Anybody get any cool ads? Eon, had that problem when I visited Quebec. Studied French for a few years, but the French I learned was useless in Quebec. And they're so mean about it. Like, the French speakers in Quebec, like, you hear about, like, going to visit France and them being, like, snooty and hoity and whatever. But if you go to visit Quebec and you try to bust out some French, you know, use what you've learned, they'll straight up be like, just please speak English. Like, they'll feel embarrassed for you. It's like, no, listen, I'm on a school trip. They've been forcing me to learn this language for like 9 years because I'm a Canadian. I'm going to try to use some of it. I'm going to try and get some mileage. And they'll be like, no. Please speak English. Because yeah, technically, yes, your English is much better than my French. Yes, fine, sorry. I get it. Humor me here a bit, guy, come on. Guy? S'il vous plaît, monsieur? Throw me a bone, as it were. They weren't that mean to me, though. They were pretty condescending. Yep, they'll be condescending. Giving me food soften the blow. So these were like retail workers. Nice. You learned French as a ballet and school language requirement. Why is a ballet? Sorry. Was the... Maybe I'm getting that mixed up. School language requirement makes sense. You were in Quebec because of a ballet thing? Whatever the case, I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I'm happy. That's very cool that you learned some French. All the French that I've learned, like I have a much easier time remembering French songs that I know than I do remembering like French vocabulary and stuff like that. I think that's just things in general though, like I'm really good at remembering lyrics. That's like how I learned a lot of Japanese. It's how I've learned French. It's how I've learned little bits of other languages as well. Was it a ballet requirement? Did you just pick it up? Yeah, because you get some like, there's a lot of French terms in ballet, right? Pointu, whatever, and like pirouette and other stuff that I don't know because I'm not a ballet type. I feel like I should have been though. Looking back, I kind of wish that I'd gotten into like gymnastics and stuff like that. Because those dudes can move. Those dudes can bend. Those dudes can do flips. Like I wish I had the motion of even of like that dude who does the backflip at the Krispy Kreme, right? Just backflips through the air, twirls, does some property damage, but I'm telling you, that motor control, that's rad. A lot of ballet was developed by the French, so a lot of ballet dancers study some French. Separate from that, certain schools in the US require 2 years of a foreign language. So at our school, we had to do grade 9 French, just as a consequence of being Canadian. And then after that, it was some other language requirement. You could either do more French or you could do like German or Italian, or we had a bunch of different language courses. I always thought it would have been very nice if they had expanded the language requirement to also include computer science, which is in itself a language of sorts, and would have seemed more I guess more forward thinking at the moment, you know, in terms of offering people, you know, future skill sets and what have you. Even today, I still think that's true, because I don't believe in this AI vibe coding and what have you. I think it's silly. I think it cheapens the. I think it sets yourself up for failure when inevitably you're going to be working on larger projects where you should be a little more invested and knowledgeable of your code base. That's just one spaceman's opinion. We were very anti-robot around here. Except you, super writing robot. You're the only writing robot that we appreciate. But no, I can't even remember the last time that I was in Quebec was like on a school trip. And they were snooty. They were very Quebecois. Wah. But we got to put up with them. They're part of the family. They're part of the Canadian family, you know? A lot of history there. That, and they got a whole bunch of our nuclear plants. So we kind of want them to stick around. They're great at producing power. What's crazy is my school's like a mix between art and tech, so they're like, yeah, use AI all you want, whenever. And a lot of the artists are just like, that's fun. Like that's very fun conceptually. Imagining that you've got like basically rival tribes at this school. Ballet is a blood sport. You're not a real dancer until you had to do a show with blood in your shoes. What I don't understand is how the men often get made fun of for being weak, while their job's to lift full-grown women with one hand and dance while they're at it. Every so often you'll hear about some fella, some a-hole, getting surprised by this fact because they don't realize how much easier it is to get chucked over a car by a guy that no longer has to make his throws look pretty. Man, like, I just think about that. Like, I should have got into like gymnastics when I was young. I could be doing flips. I could be doing cool stunts. Calisthenics, man, that's where it's at. Body control. I want to be able to hoist myself up sideways on a flagpole and like twirl around a pole or down some ribbons or whatever. That's where it's at. That'll be my next fitness goal. There you go. Once we're done being summertime spaceman, we can be all thin and lithe. Start doing some handstands. Crack a cartwheel in there once or twice. See what we can't get done. No, I'm a big fan's not the right word, appreciator of ballet. I remember I went down like a rabbit hole of like watching the Russian men's ballet and some of their performances. Those guys rule, man. And there's a lot of videos where you start to recognize some of the same performers. What's their big theater? Is it the Bolshoi? Some really great videos out there. Threaded spaceman art. Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we need. Just gross, 0% body fat, just all ripped. Ugh. Like I've said before that, like, we only eat once every 2 or 3 days. We're like straddling that line between intermittent fasting and an eating disorder at this point. But it does allow us to lose an awful lot of weight during the summer, which is great because we tend to overeat during the winter. Too much good food, too much good snacks. So we'll like balloon up a little bit and then we'll shrink down a little bit. It's seasonal, you know? But I don't think I could ever be like those like ripped up, like veins popping through. Like, it looks so uncomfortable. It looks, ugh. Who's this? Michael Baryshnikov was a beast back in his heyday. A lot of his ballet performances bordered on gymnastics at times. Noise. I've also got a big fond spot in my heart for figure skaters, I will say. I had a friend growing up who was a very, very talented figure skater. Fella, mind you. He was a fella. And he did pair skating, so he had a partner, this girl that he would skate with. And yeah, they were just awesome. Never made it Olympic, but got pretty close. They were really, really rad. And dude was fit, absolutely. And you know what happened? As soon as he stopped doing that, guy put on a little bit of weight and a little bit more and a little bit more. It's real easy to let yourself go. Oh, I decided to grab and try Nas since it was mentioned earlier on stream and it kind of tastes like socks. let me double check here. Like socks? What do you mean? I think it's got like a fruity. Maybe it's the guarana. I don't know. There's a fruitiness to it. That's what I'm getting hints of. Socks though? Let me just double check. No, I'm not tasting it, Robo. I'm not tasting it. So we decided ballet wasn't hard enough. Yeah, right? You're gonna do ballet on skates, on ice. And ever since then, I always love watching Winter Olympics when we get to the skating competitions. They're always so rad. And did any of you guys ever see Yuri on Ice? Yuri on Ice is an outstanding series. I love it. It's a little saucy at times, but I love it. Maybe you should taste one of your socks just to be sure. Well, listen, you got to have a control study. Absolutely. Taste one of yours, then taste one of mine. Then taste the NOS itself. I also understand that it comes in different flavors. Mine is just the blue can in the battery can. Maybe volume also affects it. You gotta make sure it's carbonated enough to pop open like a gunshot. I just wish that I could still find Jolt Cola in the battery can. It would like I know I've got an image of it here. Let me see. Hold. Let me see. There you are. Beauty. Look at you. This is what I'm talking about right here. Jolt Cola in the battery can. Just pure fuel, pure energy. And it tasted just like an off-brand Coke, like an off-brand cola. Like some no-name brand, President's Choice, whatever, right? Nothing special about it except for how caffeinated it was. Keep you up, keep you active, keep you motivated, keep you accelerated. And now how hard is it to find Jolt Cola these days? I don't even think they're still in business. Was a carbonated soft drink. Currently unavailable. Man. The original energy drink. I'm pretty sure they had a product placement in Hackers. The film Hackers. As like the drink du jour of these computer wizards. Man. Maybe one of these days they'll make a comeback again. That's what I'd do with $1 million. Buy out the rights. Start fueling the youth up again with hyper-caffeinated drinks. You know what I've actually heard is that, because somebody mentioned this to me the other week when they were out buying stuff. Friend of the show who lives over in the UK was talking about, I got carded at the store when I was trying to buy like snacks and energy drink and stuff like that. It's like, you guys have to be a certain age in order to buy energy drinks? Which apparently is a real thing. Is stream buffering a bit, or is that on my end? Let's find out. Let's open up Twitch and find out. We'll just watch the Vector Spaceman show on the Vector Spaceman show. No, it looks okay to me. I'm looking pretty smooth. I'm schmoovin'. I'm doing okay. Though to be fair, I am a lot closer to the source than you are. But anywho, that was the news. UK, I think you gotta be like over 16 or something like that in order to buy energy drinks. Which, to be fair, might not be the worst idea in the world, like when you really think about it in terms of like, as far as like, oh, think of the children sort of initiatives go, that's not the worst one, right? You can definitely be forgiven for that one. Because, yeah, you probably shouldn't be juicing up the youth on hyper caffeine. Even if it is going to inspire, you know, some new generation of computer wizard. It's probably not worth it to, you know, give them debilitating caffeine addictions. Kids don't really need 300 milligrams of caffeine causing their nervous system to bulge out from under their skin. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, at least wait till they're 16. At least wait till they can start to make, you know, silly teenage decisions for themselves, you know? We've got like a messed up system of what you can and can't do and buy and stuff here in Canada. Because you can get your driver's license when you're 16, like your learner's permit and all that. And then it usually takes another 2 years or sometimes like a year and a half to get your full license. You can gamble when you're 18. And I think you can also buy cigarettes when you're 18. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, let me look that up. But you can't get alcohol until you're 19. Okay, so you can purchase tobacco when you're 18, but some provinces limit that age to 19, which is also when you can get alcohol in most provinces, unless you're in Quebec, because they can buy alcohol when they're 16, I'm pretty sure. There's also some talk of raising the tobacco purchase price to purchase age to 21. And I've even heard talk about them trying to like phase it out entirely. Like, okay, if you were born after this year, you can't buy tobacco until you're like, let's say 21. Or if you're born after this year, you can't buy it until you're 25. Or after this year, like eventually they want to phase it out to the point where we're just going to stop selling it. Because it is such a destructive narcotic, you know? It's not good for you. In the US, it's all over the place. I kind of believe that because you're sort of founded on this idea of, you know, Republican federalism, right? I just thought in Canada it'd be a little more consistent. 14 for driver's permit? Jeez. 18 for gambling and getting drafted, 21 for drinking and smoking. Yeah, that's at least a little consistent. Like, you can go into a casino in Canada and, well, I guess it's the same for US then. You can go into a casino, gamble, but you can't get a drink until you're 19 here or 21 in the States. It's goofy, you know? Yeah, because that used to be the big thing that that Americans would do. They like come over the border into Quebec to do a little underage drinking, and then scoot back over, none the wiser. 15 for permit, but you can start the testing for it at 14. That seems a little young. I mean, it's arbitrary in some sense, but yeah, 14 seems a little young. But probably best that they get practice at least. If we had any better weather up here, I really would love to get a motorcycle license. just do a little zipping around, get another stupid, obnoxious little vehicle like the Mini, but in motorcycle form, like a little scooter, like a little Vespa or something similar. You know, something very Spaceman-esque. Oh, to dream. Now, speaking of dreams, probably gonna close out the show real soon so I can get some beauty sleep. It's all highways here. I don't know how it is in Canada, but it's like if you want to get anywhere, you need to drive 30 minutes. It's not dissimilar here. So here's the history of Canadian civil engineering. So Canada has about 4 or 5 cities in it. And then everything else is small towns. We've got Vancouver, we've got Toronto, we've got Montreal, we've got maybe a smattering of others. Calgary, maybe, but nothing huge. Like the 2 biggest cities are Vancouver and Toronto, easily. The big 3, those 2 and Montreal, if you want to put those 3 together. And then you've got this enormous country, which is, here's the problem, is that Canada is basically like the size of 13 separate countries. That's we've got the population of 1, though. We've got the population of 1 country, which is paying for the road infrastructure of this enormous highway system, connecting everything. If you live in farm areas, it's fairly common to have a special permit or something to drive farm. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. I've always liked that, and I've always known people who, yeah, like, grew up on farms, so they'd be driving, you know, pickups and farm equipment and stuff like that all the time when they're young. Makes sense, right? Most of the time I just used a horse. I don't think I knew anybody who had a horse growing up. I knew farm people, but I didn't know anybody who still actually rode around on a horse. But yes, Robo, you gotta drive a lot here in Canada, because everything is so spaced out because, you know, it was frontier. It was trying to hit that west coast. Basically, we hit the east coast, England and France, made our way up the St. Lawrence River, founded Quebec City and Montreal and Toronto and Ottawa, and just kept on going. And so now we got all these little tiny towns where you got to drive forever just to connect everything. I remember one time I saw this guy thugging out with a gold chain and big baggy pants. He was riding around on a horse on the sidewalk. Nice. Nice, though. You still see horse and buggies sometimes in certain parts of the province. Our Ontario here. You want to be that guy? I remember one time I was down in Florida, and I saw an old man, had to be in his 70s, in short shorts, like denim short shorts, riding around on his bike, bald, got his sunglasses on, and he's got nipple piercings. One on each, like big hoops, and a chain running between them. That guy always stuck with me. I'm not saying I want to be that guy. I'm just saying that was my shocking sight. He was out there living his life. Sounds like Florida. Yep, that was a Florida moment. There's an island in Michigan where most of the transport's horse and cart, or at least that's what the rumors say. Michigan, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Or I hear like Pennsylvania's got a lot of that. What it is up here, it's like Amish, Mennonite, that sort of thing. So we've got those communities here. So if you're in certain parts of the province, you'll see them all over the place. Especially if you're in like farm country, right? And they're cool folks. Mackinac Island, man. I like places that got fun names like that. Mackinac. So who are we dropping in on tonight, you guys? Let me check here. I lived in Michigan for 3 months last year, but I'm Florida raised. Oh, you're Florida. And I hate every second down here. I probably haven't been down in Florida because we've got some space fam down there, but what with the COVID stuff and the, just general attitudes down there, I haven't been down to visit in many a year now. And it's hot. That's the thing. I only used to go in like the winter to like March times, either like Christmas break or March break. That's the only time I'd ever go down to visit. So it was decent, right? It was still nice enough, especially in like March, where we could like go out, do some boating or something like that. Maybe go to Universal or something. And not be too hot. Because yeah, I remember being in Japan in August. And that heat, that humidity. People forget it's a subtropical country. But you figure that out real quick when you're there for the summer. I still think that like the fall is the best time to visit Japan. It's not too hot. It's not too cool. Going in like October times, humidity is the worst. Yeah, I don't like sweating all the time, And with this helmet on, it's stifling. You run hot. Last thing I need is to be a sweaty spaceman. Yuck. And again, yuck. Witherling, how are you doing? Guys, big shout out to the Witherling. And I kid you not, maybe one of the most talented illustrators kicking it on Twitch these days. Definitely check out the Witherling. Do your duty as a space cadet. You see that little thing that says join us in following the Witherling? Do it. You're not going to regret it. What an artist. All right? Did you experience crazy rain in Japan yet? So, when we were there in like the spring times, yeah. Like, it's storm season. Yeah, it's like hurricane season. It's rain on rain on rain. And it's a walkable nation, so you're always out and about. I got my umbrella out, trying to keep my feet dry. Yep, memories of this. Thankfully, I never got caught up in any, like, actual storm that, washed anything away. I was living in... Are you doing your part? Hey, there we go. I was living in, for a while, Sendai. And Sendai got hit bad during the 2011, what do you call it? Earthquake and hurricane that caused the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. Because Fukushima's like right down the road from Sendai. And Sendai got a lot of physical hurricane damage. And not even hurricane, but like that tidal wave just from the offshore earthquake that occurred. A lot of people, yeah, a lot of lives, a lot of damage, bad stuff. But that was like, cross your fingers, like a once in a lifetime sort of event. You hope something like that doesn't happen again. Wasn't there for that, but I was living there in the aftermath of that. And you could still see, where they were rebuilding, where they were still, working to clean stuff up. It was rough. The tsunami. Yeah, that's the word that I was looking for there. Sorry, it's a little late. Funny thing about Japan, all your stuff is safe except your umbrella. Right, so at the little, communal, drop your umbrellas off. to sort of dry out. Yeah, somebody might just walk away with one of those one of the times. Tokyo, so I was living in Tokyo for a while as well. Not during the spring times though, so I didn't see a whole lot of rain in Tokyo. I got to see summer times in Tokyo. And guess what? It's super hot. It's super hot. It's just humid. Witherling is also located on that side of the world, if I'm not mistaken. So I know you know what it's like. Some of us just ain't built for it. Or at least not without a little hand fan at all times. If you got something to keep yourself cool with, absolutely. The equator's not a kind mistress. No. Just hot, hot, hot. No, people forget that Japan's a subtropical climate until you're there in the summertime. And you're like, oof. And again, oof. Eon, you had said people forget about the wet bulb temperature, not just the... Yeah, so that's where, like... So wet bulb temperature is, like, where... Like, the perspiration on your body can't, like, evaporate because it's so humid. So you're basically just, like... Your skin's, like, drowning in itself, right? Yeah, that's rough. Which is why I don't like going back in the summer, even though I had to one time because it was a whole like what is it? End of war event thing. We were delivering like a big like 1,000 crane senbazuru is the term for it. Like 1,000 paper cranes that one of our local schools had made up. And we were taking it over there to Hiroshima for a big event, which was really cool, and it was nice to do. And you know, I got to meet the mayor of Hiroshima, not on purpose, but just because I wound up in the same elevator as him, and he noticed the crane bundle that I had, and so he started asking about that. And his English was decent, which you'd expect from a politician. And so we got to talking about that. He introduced himself, and so that was a cool little moment. You know what's bad when sweating no longer helps? Yeah, when it's making it worse. That's when you know it's bad. Oh, what a lovely evening of anecdotes and chit-chatting and good friends. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Now, we got to get our raid on. Otherwise, we're going to get hit with another ad. And I hate putting you guys through ads. So I think I know where we're going to go tonight. We're going to go say hi to friend of the show, Pomato Master. I want you guys to be on your best behavior, as I know you always are. Pom's doing some more chatting tonight. Looks like she's talking about scuffed science. We love a little scuffed science. Pom, of course, is a great big friend of the show. We're going to be seeing Pom at Fan Expo this year once again. Let me do a little shout out before we go. Bam, it's Pom. Make sure you follow Pom. Or maybe wait till the raid, then you can follow her once we get there. Robo, you have a good night. Stick around for 3 seconds while I raid you guys out. And then you guys can all take off. Do your duty, you know? Setting up a raid, getting ready to raid. Thanks again to Witherling, thanks again to Robo, thanks again to Eon, thanks again to Rumble and Azure, and everybody who tuned in. This was a pretty cool evening. Thanks for being here. It's our first Tuesday stream since we lost the job, so this was fun. Glad we got to experience it with you guys. Now we're going to be having a, karaoke stream later this week, you guys. So if you got any suggestions, you let me know. We always love doing new songs. Probably going to do that either Thursday or Friday or Saturday, whenever we can make sure that we got the station to ourselves. But we'll let you know ahead of time. Until then, Space Cadets, as always, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight, wherever and whenever you are. You can join us again next week, same time, same place, right here at Harbor Station, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll catch you on the other side, Space Cadets. Until then, of course, no matter what life throws your way, good luck and Godspeed. This is Vector Spaceman, signing off. Now stick around for this raid, because we are about to send you off for some more great content for your evening. Believe it, say hi to Palm, say nice things, be on your best behavior, give her a follow if you aren't already. She's a great friend of the show. She's been in all of our skits and specials. She's an OG, so definitely show her some love. We'll see you guys later in the week for the karaoke stream. Until then, you guys, take care. We'll see you all real soon. Bye-bye.